What's up guys, Mike here back with another Overwatch video. Today we are talking patch notes. We got a new hero Ana being introduced and a bunch of changes to McCree, Diva, Zenyatta, Mercy, and Soldier. I'm going to be focused on just the hero changes in this video, so if you missed yesterday's video where I talk all about the changes to competitive mode coming this patch, you can check that out by clicking the links on your screen now. So let's hop right into these patch notes, kicking it off with Diva. Alright, so let's go through some of the Diva changes. The main thing that they were changing with Diva is obviously the defensive matrix. The cooldown has been decreased from 10 seconds to 1 second. So it's basically, and they gave it a new resource meter. So when you actually hold it, you can see this meter on the right side. And it goes up and down depending on, obviously, if you're using it or not. And yeah, it takes 10 seconds to fully recharge. So similar to like a Reinhardt shield. Reinhardt shield, I believe, is like 10.8 seconds to fully recharge. So 10 seconds to fully recharge after it's completely depleted. I think overall the toggle functionality with the defensive matrix is amazing, and that's probably why Diva is going to be really strong right now. So the ability to like shoot and then throw it up, like say you're against a FAR or something, right? Blocker rocket shooter, blocker rocket shooter, blocker rocket shooter, and you can just constantly do that. You can think of so many uses that it's going to be extremely effective. And yeah, I like that they're adding skill into the hero. Like, it's not going to be, oh, I'm either using it for a major cooldown or I'm not, and I won't have it for X amount of time. I think it's just a much more interesting way of balancing the champion, and I don't know, it definitely increases the skill cap, because now you're going to be able to pop it and like block individual spells, individual important projectiles coming at you. So I think it definitely increases the skill cap. Really excited about Diva right now. So the other changes are self-destruct. The ultimate cost decreased by 15%. The explosion delay has been reduced from 4 seconds to 3 seconds. So that basically means like when you blast off the ultimate, it has 3 seconds instead of 4 before it explodes, which is pretty insane. In terms of like, it doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're actually in the game, it's like, oh yeah, like you get so used to it. It's like, oh, I have plenty of time. I can take 3 hours to get out of the way. Now it's like, dude, if you don't get out of the way from that Diva ultimate immediately, you're dead. Because 3 seconds, definitely not a lot of time to react, but definitely still plenty enough time for counterplay to be there. Like if they put it at 2 seconds, obviously that'd be ridiculous. But 3 seconds, that's like, they send it in the air for about 1.5 seconds as it travels to you, and then it explodes. I think that's like pretty reasonable. So overall, I think Diva's going to be in a great spot. I definitely think she got brought up to similar levels with the other tanks, which is really good, because obviously I think all the other tanks are ridiculously good right now. Each one has their own definitive spot. So I think Diva's going to be really useful in taking like high ground positions by boosting up and using her shield, similar to how she's being used right now in competitive play. But I think since her defensive matrix is more reliable, her ult is more reliable, you'll just see an increase in play overall with her. And up next is Soldier 76, who saw some changes to his main fire heavy pulse rifle. The spread recovery will begin after a short delay rather than instantly. This is basically just going to nerf people's ability to shoot 4 times, stop shooting, shoot 4 times. And if you did it fast enough, it would look like you just were holding down the trigger. But every 4 shots, you would like let go of the trigger, and it would reset your bloom, and it would reset your aim, so it'd be dead center again. And then you could just start shooting, and you would constantly do this, and if you got good, it would look like you were just holding down the trigger, but you were keeping fully accurate and never having any bloom. Obviously, that's not how the gun should work. There should obviously be some bloom. So now there's going to be a short delay rather than instantly. Every time you stop shooting, you're going to have to wait like a split second. So I think these are going to be some good changes. I think Soldier is definitely going to have some competition in his role right now. Him being nerfed a little bit is going to put him more in line with Widow. And then obviously McCree just got buffed, so he's going to kind of slide into that role as well. So I think that mid-range poke damage role is going to have some heavy competition right now. So we'll see how Soldier is on this patch after that. Now, another one of the major focuses for this patch was Zenyatta. Zenyatta saw a ton of changes. Let's kick it off with the base shield increase by 50. So it's now 50 health and 150 shields. This is actually a really creative, and I mean not really creative, but a really good way, in my opinion, to buff Zenyatta, because Zenyatta doesn't have a way to heal himself. So if you give him 50 shields versus 50 health, if you give him 50 shields, that shields will recharge, and it's kind of like a mini self-heal. Like if Zenyatta stays out of combat, the shields will recharge, so it'll go back up to 150 health instead of being at 100. I think it's a really, really smart way of changing it. Now the primary weapon fire decreased from 45 to 40. The alternate weapon fire increased from 35 to 40. This is basically just, you know, you can't give Zenyatta all these buffs and then leave the primary fire dealing that much damage. And they're just trying to get the right click to be more useful. No one really uses the alternate fire because it's pretty bad and very, very, very situational. So I still think people are just going to use the left click overall. I don't really see too many people right clicking, but we'll see. Orb of Discord and Orb of Harmony, the projectile speed has been increased from 30 to 120. This is actually a really good change. This is like more of a quality life change. Right now, or well, I guess before this patch, when you throw out an orb, there'd be like this ridiculously long travel time depending on how far away your target was from you. And I don't know, it just like adds an extra layer of unpredictability, and like I don't know. I don't think it should be there. Just increase the speed. You throw it out, they get it, boom, done. I like I like this change. Definitely a nice quality of life change. And yeah, it should allow you to like constantly swap your Discord orb, and your team can immediately swap onto that person and like deal damage rather than having it like travel through the air. So definitely a good change in my opinion. Transcendence, the movement speed is now doubled upon activation. Healing amount increased from 200 to 300 health per second. So just big buff overall. I mean, Transcendence is going to be great, very useful to like getting into a site and then obviously locking it down. It's going to allow you to like speed up into a site and then kill people while you're getting healed to full. Basically, you're not going to die in there unless something crazy happens. But yeah, I think Zenyatta is going to be really good. Definitely going to fit that niche of a support hero that can deal a decent chunk of damage. It's going to be kind of similar to Anne. Obviously, Zenyatta is going to deal way more damage. I think Zenyatta is going to be in a really good spot right now. I think the support meta overall is going to be really interesting. Buffing Zenyatta and introducing a new hero, or a new support hero, basically bumped up the pool from 2 supports, because you'd see Mercy, Lucio every game, to 4 supports, and then the occasional Symmetra, which I don't really count because she doesn't really heal. But I think the support group is actually in a good spot right now, and I'm pretty happy with these Zenyatta changes overall. Alright, and up next is McCree. So McCree got a buff to his Peacekeeper, which is his left click, his main fire from his gun, the single shot. It now maintains full damage at longer range, but will deal less damage at extreme ranges. So basically, it means he can shoot from further away and deal more damage. That's the gist of it. It allows him to do, you know, 2-shot combos on the 200 HP targets from closer ranges. It's just an overall really nice buff to McCree. I definitely think McCree needed a buff, although I don't really agree with this being the right buff. I think this puts McCree in a similar role that Widow and Soldier 76 already fill, and I don't know if that was the right way to go. I think what Blizzard talked about before was making McCree more of an answer to flankers like Tracer, Genji, and Reaper, and be able to like flashbang and kill them. Like, I don't know. It feels like a weird change to me because it's going to put him in a role that they don't really want him in. And like they've already seen this. Back in the beta, McCree had full damage range with his left click. So that means all this BS with it falling off in damage, it had no fall off and dealt max damage from all the way far away. And it's a hit scan, so it means if you point somewhere and click, it hits that spot. It's not a projectile, so people with disgusting aim are going to put out a ridiculous amount of damage with McCree. Now, it's not going to be as ridiculous as it was in the beta, but it's going to be very strong. And I've already played against McCree and played as McCree quite a bit on this patch already. So I think McCree is going to be in a good spot in terms of play. I don't really agree with this being the choice of the way to buff him, but I don't know. I definitely think he needed a buff to be relevant, and this seems like a pretty easy solution. I don't think he's going to be broken or anything, so it's definitely a decent change. I just probably would have went a different way about it. And then up next is Mercy. She also saw some small changes. The main one that we actually care about is Resurrect, which is the change to her ultimate. Her ultimate charge cost increased by 30%. So basically that just means they increased the time it takes to build up your ultimate. And then in exchange, you get movement is no longer prevented during activation, and Guardian Angel is instantly reset upon use. The movement is no longer prevented during activation is absolutely massive, and is going to allow Mercy, is probably going to change how Mercy's like played, because how you play it right now is you basically wait for your whole team to die and then go in and res them with your ultimate, and then you die in exchange because your movement is stopped when you go in to use your ultimate, so the enemy team just kills you. So now you're actually going to be able to still move during your ultimate. Going to allow Mercy to possibly get out and not have to trade her life every time she wants to use her ultimate, which is going to be really good. And I just think it's a smart way to change. So obviously you have to punish in some sort of way, so reducing the ultimate charge or increasing the ultimate charge cost is definitely a good way of going about it. You know, making the ultimate take a little bit longer. I mean, Mercy already charges ultimate ridiculously fast anyways, so overall I like this change. Gonna give Mercy a little bit more counterplay and make it more interesting instead of her just like dying every single time she wants to use her ultimate. So overall, good change. That's all for the patch notes. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a thumbs up, and if you did not, make sure to leave a dislike and some feedback in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace!